Hey guys, do you guys like this hair and makeup thing that I'm trying out? It's called It Looked Really Good When I Did It, and then I fell asleep for 5 hours. We all see the title. We all know what's about to happen. My story times have been gaining a bit of traction lately, and they've been creating a lot of controversy. I want you guys to understand something before you watch this video. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. I'm serious, okay? Everybody's fucked up, and if you told all the stories about you fucking up, there would be another you commenting on your video telling you how stupid you are. I'm sorry, I have a lot of pent-up feelings. Alright, let's get on to the story. It's no secret that I've been around town when it comes to dating, okay? And by been around town, no, I don't mean the town is penises and the vehicle that's getting me around is my vagina. I just mean that I've dated a lot of people. Dating is really fun and also sometimes mostly not that fun at all. I don't know how many of you actually knew this, but I started my online career on Vine. I've gained most of my YouTube following organically, not pushing myself super hard on Vine. But on Vine I do have 3.6 million followers, which, what the fuck? I don't Vine anymore, so don't even bother looking me up. But being one of the first big Viners, we were all like a little clique. And I'm not saying like, oh, I was a big Viner. At one point I was top 10 on Vine, or top 20, top something. It was a very close group of us. Now this story is about a guy named L. L was an up and coming Viner. Now he's a little bit more big. I think he has over 1 million followers. This situation was like a lot of the other Viners that I've dated or hooked up with or anything like that. The reason why it's the same is because everyone at one point was pretty close. There were cliques, and outside of those cliques, like, you didn't really hang out with anyone else. You just hung out with your group. Because you all did the internet, you just felt like you had to date and hang out with each other. Thank God I realized that's not the truth. Everyone was just like trying to date each other and trying to figure something out because it just made sense. It was the group of people. Him and I never really fit well together. He has a girlfriend now, and his girlfriend now totally makes sense for him. Like, look-wise, like everything just like they fit together very nicely. Like, him and I never had that. We were just complete opposites. To me, he was my type because he was short and Hispanic. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, like, it just didn't make much sense. So here's the backstory, okay? He lives in Tallahassee. Now, L lives in Tallahassee. By that, you're probably gonna know who he is. I don't care, okay? We're going on with the story. I went to visit him twice. He never came to visit me in Miami. If you watched my dating famous Viners video, he was the guy that had my Vine password and re-Vined himself a lot. I just felt like he was using me. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it down below. We had a decent relationship in the sense that, like, we talked every day, but he was just not in it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. He was just distant. I think that he was just trying to like force himself to like me. Like, I don't think I'm an unlikable person. I just really don't think I'm his type. So he would be like cute, but then some days he was just super distant, and I would get on him about that. I was like, why are your actions different than what you're sometimes telling me? So that was frustrating, and that was an issue that we had. And I went to Tallahassee one time and we just fought like the whole fucking time. He even left me stranded at a club in Tallahassee, and I was like by myself in a college town. I have to make a story time about that. That was traumatic. Our relationship was a little bit rocky. And then this whole group of Viners planned a meetup in New York. I knew before going to this trip that it was gonna be a shit show. Anytime you put that many Viners together, it's gross. Everyone's just like either fighting or making out with each other or doing something weird. Like, there's drama everywhere you look. I was excited to see him because, like I said, he lived in Tallahassee and I lived in Miami, and we would talk every day, but like, it just, you know, obviously it's better to be in person. He had told me to pack a nice dress because he wanted to take me out, and I knew that that meant he was gonna ask me to be his girlfriend. And honestly, I was super excited about it. I really did like him. I get to New York a little bit before him, like a few hours before, and I was like so excited to see him. Once he landed, we saw each other right away. Of course, I was paying for the hotel room because that's just how it works with like fucking Viners. You just pay for everything for them. And yes, you don't have to say it. I know that's my fault. If I offer to pay and they accept, that's not their fault. I'm just saying he didn't hesitate to say yes. Whatever. I was paying for the hotel room. We were both gonna stay in it. Wonderful. L had a best friend at that time named O, who I ended up dating and writing bitch please about. So wonderful. It was just kind of a tensions high kind of situation. The relationship between Elle and I at this point, it was just weird, okay? And I remember my Vine account got hacked into that day of the meetup, so it was just like everything was going wrong. And if I'm being honest with myself, I knew the relationship wasn't gonna work out. I knew that I wasn't his type. I knew that his actions didn't add up to his words. I knew that it just wasn't gonna work out. That made me like really sad because I did really like him. I think it was the night of the meetup or the next night. A bunch of us got together in a hotel room. room. I think it was Ginger Wesson's hotel room. Yes, it was. Hey girl. We were all in there just like eating shit. Not literally eating shit. Probably someone in there was eating shit. Viners are weird. We were all in there and all of a sudden Elle looks at me, he's like, let's go. Like, we're leaving. And I looked at him, I was like, no, not happening. You know in those parties when you were younger where your parents just were like, we're going, and then you had no way else to get home and you were just like, fuck. That's how I felt. I felt like I had no choice. So I just looked at him and I was like, I don't want to leave. Mind you, at this point I was very, very intoxicated and everyone was just laughing together and talking and filming vines and it was just like a fun time. So I told him I didn't want to leave and he just said, well, we're leaving. And I was like, no, I don't want to leave. That's all I knew. I started talking to someone else and before I know it, he's gone. And I was like, wait, where'd he go? I was pretty shocked to see that he wasn't there anymore. So I called him and I was like, hello, where are you? He's like, I'm downstairs, we're catching a cab. And I told him, I'm like, okay, I'll be right down. Jeez. So I go downstairs and by the time I got downstairs, he wasn't there anymore. So I was like, okay. Mind you, at this time in my life, I was a bit dramatic. And instead of handling it like more of an adult and calling him and being like, hey, like, I'm sorry, I missed you and I'll see you now. I just took it as like, oh yeah, you left? Fuck you, bitch. Mind you, we weren't together, okay? Let me emphasize this. He did not ask me to be his girlfriend. We had like an exclusivity thing, but like we weren't official. I went back up to the room. I got 4 people and I was like, let's just go back to my hotel room. Let's drink. Let's walk around New York. So we went to my hotel room and when I got there, he had taken all his shit from the room and God knows where he went. I was like, okay, so we're all just drinking. And then we go to someone else's hotel room. I'm telling you, these things are a fucking mess. We go to someone else's hotel room and there was a really cute viner there. He's just a cute guy. And of course I noticed that, like, I have eyes. So we're all drinking, we're taking shots, we're getting fucked up, we're just like a mess. And all of a sudden, someone comes into the room and shows me a video. And they didn't know that me and Elle had been fighting and they were just like, hey, I was just in the club with your boy. And I was like, oh, he's in a club. They were like, yeah, here's a video. And he's dancing with a girl in that video. And it was pretty risque dancing, if I do say so myself. So I looked at that video and mind you, at this point, I'm obliterated. I am absolutely wasted. He wasn't answering any of my text messages, none of my calls. He didn't want to know about me. He was just like, fuck this bitch. At this point, he had done this to me so much. Like when he gets pissed off, he just fucking shuts himself out. He doesn't want to hear anything from you and that pisses me off. Because the last thing I need when we're upset at each other is for everyone to just stop talking. So he had done that so many fucking times. He was in the club grinding on some chick. I was done. At that point, I just felt like this is gonna end. Like I don't want to know about this dude anymore. Like I don't want anything to do with him. It wasn't like immediate, but eventually that night, me and that cute guy in the room just eventually made out. And that was it. We just kissed. The next morning we woke up and me and that group of people, we all just decided like, let's just go out into New York. And I called Elle to just see like, hey, like, are you okay? Are you alive? Because I did care about him. I just didn't know what the fuck was going on. He answered and he was livid with me. Like he was just like, what do you want? And I was just like, well, I'm just hanging out with these people, but if you want to talk later or something, he's like, I don't want to talk. I was like, okay, have a great night. And this was our last night in New York. So I was like, you know what? Nah, like fuck this guy. That night we all got super drunk and so of course I called Elle because whatever, at that point I was stupid. I called Elle and I was like, are we gonna talk because we're leaving tomorrow and like what? We're just not gonna say anything to each other? This is just gonna end on like a fucking cliffhanger? He eventually agreed to meet me by the elevators of the hotel that we were staying at. We ended up talking and I told him about the video that I had seen and he was like, wait, so you saw that video? What did you do? And I was like, what do you mean what did I do? He's like, if you thought that I did something with that girl, then what did you do? What do you mean? I made out with that guy. Duh. And he, oh my god, fucking World War III broke out. Every name in the book, like just letting me have it. And just looking at me and making me feel like I was a fucking bug on the floor that he just squashed with his shoe. Now, let me tell you why I don't think this is cheating. We were not officially together. At that point, with the amount of fights and his refusal to answer my phone calls and all of those things combined just made me feel like this guy doesn't want to be with me. It was just so clear and I think in that moment when I decided to kiss this guy, I just realized like, I hope this fucks it up. I hope this fucks up this relationship because it's not going anywhere. Don't get me wrong, I was super sad when this guy just like looked at me as such a piece of shit and like thought I was, you know, such a slut and all this stuff and I was like, I know I'm not that person. I know I'm not a bad person. I know how I felt really vulnerable and I felt unloved and uncared for. If you're my boyfriend, I don't give a fuck if we don't talk 1 night, 2 nights, 3 weeks. Unless we say we break up, then we're not fucking broken up. But when it's such a like a dating situation, we had only been dating for like 2 months and all this drama had already happened, like I just felt like, ugh, like I'm so over this. Him and I never spoke after that. Shortly after, he got a girlfriend, which he still has now, and a year after dating the girlfriend, he blocked me. Like, it was a year after, and I'm assuming she had something to do with it, or maybe it has something to do with the fact that I dated his best friend. But honestly, yeah, okay, I made a little boo-boo with that one. I admit it, not very smart. I agree that I shouldn't have dated his best friend O, but I feel like I got my punishment by dating O. Like, dating O was my punishment. I do agree that I made a lot of stupid decisions in this story, but I also agree that he made a lot of stupid decisions too. I feel like him and I were pretty equal in the stupid decision department. But anyway, that's the time I cheated on a Viner. If you actually do think I cheated, like, I'm super open to your opinions, okay, but like, don't write them if they're bad. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on Saturday. Bye!